In 2022 and 2024, I lost my soul dogs. Their names were Oaks, Hotch, and Girly, and since then I have done so many things to honor their legacy. Pet loss is one of the hardest things I've ever had to grieve. I truly never imagined just how hard it was going to be. It took me a long time to not only grieve, but I'm still grieving. And I think that there is such a stigma with pet loss, and a lot of the time it's not considered as serious of a loss. My goal through this platform that I have is to really shine light on pet loss because, like I said, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. I know that there's many people out there just like me. Whether you have lost your soul dog, which if you have, my heart goes out to you, or your animals are still with you and you want to do a few things to memorialize them while they're still here, I hope that this video brings you comfort. If there are dog paws that you hear throughout this video, I have 6 dogs. So there's no way around that. One of the first things that I did was for the first dog that I lost. Her name was Girly. That was planting a garden. I didn't do this right when Girly passed. It was my first pet loss experience, and I don't think I would have been able to do that right away. It took me a year to do this garden, and something that I was so terrified of throughout this pet loss experience was the 1-year anniversary of her passing. So something I did to sort of help me, I guess you could say, reach that date was plan this garden. So I had to build a garden box. I had to fill it with dirt. I had to go and get the plants. I had to shop for the plants. And I started it a week prior to the anniversary of her passing. Each day I sort of planned out my day. Okay, today I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna build the box. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the dirt. The next day I'm gonna do the plants, or I'm gonna go shopping for the plants. This really scary week all of a sudden didn't feel so scary. There was a lot of crying. It was good crying in a way, like it really helped me grieve her. I was so proud of it. I ordered a little stone for it that said her name. It had the year that she passed. I got that on Etsy. I will link that down below. Anything I can think of to link for you, I'll put it in the description box. But to light it up at night, I got these little like solar powered paw prints, and I put those like in the garden so that when I'm in the house at night looking out that I could see those lit up, and it made me think of her. I did a whole garden full of pink flowers. She would have hated that I put flowers in it. She would have been like, Mom, you made me this perfect pool of dirt and you filled it with flowers. But I always felt like pink flowers were my sign from her. The reason I felt that way is because when she passed and I was having a hard day, I saw this picture on the internet and there's a pink flower in it. And so whenever I see pink flowers now, I think of her. So I filled it with just all pink. I did some annuals and some perennials. 4 of the plants would come back every year. When those flowers came back, it was the coolest thing. It felt just like so rewarding, and it brought me so close to her. The fact that they came back, they survived the winter. And then because I wanted to work on the garden every year, I got a few annuals that don't obviously return. The second thing I did was adopt a shelter pet. A lot of people see it, especially when you're in the thick of the grief of replacing your soul dog or your soul cat. I really tried to rephrase that in my brain. I saw it less of replacing her and more of giving her spot in my home to a dog that is so deserving. I know that Girly would be so proud that, you know, like I took her out of a shelter. She was grateful and thankful. And I know she would want her spot to be filled, and she would want another dog that's in a shelter living in her home. I just know, because she was such a loving dog. It brought me a lot of joy because I was struggling and I was deep in depression when I lost my first dog. I thought it would get easier one day, like for future dogs that I lost. It doesn't. But what does help my heart, and honestly, the only thing that helped my heart really was to save another soul. We recently saved 2 dogs off a euthanasia list at a California kill shelter. We did that after losing our dogs, Hotch and Oaks. Truly to this day, it's the only thing that got me through. Just being able to give another soul a chance at a home. And I also started this retirement home for shelter dogs. I called it Oaks, Hotch, and Girly's Place, and the whole goal of it is to save primarily senior dogs, but shelter dogs in general, ones that may not get out of the shelter. I started that in their legacy, and I'm not telling you to go and start an animal rescue, but I'm just sharing something that I did. Oaks, Hotch, and Girly's Place has saved 6 dogs so far. If you guys want to follow the Instagram, it's Oaks, Hotch, and Girly's Place, and we have an Amazon wish list for the dogs too. I'll link that down below. I'm so proud of it. I know my soul dogs would be too. The next thing I did was, Girly was like an angel, a literal angel. And so when Christmas came, I'm a big like Christmas decor girl, and I wanted to get an ornament made of her. Instead of an ornament, I actually decided to make her the angel atop of our tree. This is Girly. And I had the felt Girly made by a girl on Etsy. I'll link her down below as well. You send photos and she basically creates your dog, and you can make some changes if you want as well. It didn't come as this like tree topper. I had to make this. I actually got, they had like a little dove. These wings in this stand used to be attached to a dove that I got at HomeSense, and then I just took it and I like attached it to her. But you could totally make this. So if you had like a hanger and you like wrapped the hanger around something and then just took felt or twine and wrapped it up with it and glued it at both ends, that's exactly what this is. And then I just put it through the felt dog and put some glue on it to hold it. And then the wings, we can just also make this out of felt. I just glued it on as well. So that would be how you would turn it into that. Every year she's the angel atop of our tree looking over us. This is one of the most special things that I have ever made. I can't wait until I'm like 80 years old setting up my Christmas tree and I'm still talking about Girly. The next thing I did, let's stick with the topic of Christmas. This year, when I had 2 more of my dogs pass, I thought, well, what am I gonna do for their ornament this year? Because I normally do a Christmas ornament for my dogs every year. And I decided on this. The rainbow is beautiful. It reminds me of the Rainbow Bridge. This I got made on Etsy. I had their names, Oaks, Hutch, and Girly, put on it. When I open all of the Christmas ornaments, for me, it's like this memory lane. It's just special to me because of that. I was just so scared that I would lose the memory of them or as time went on, not remember them, which I know is so crazy. I would never do that, but I was so desperate to find ways to keep their memory alive, and I think this one helps for sure, especially Christmas every year. I see that. The next thing that I did was I got a tattoo. The first tattoo is actually on my hand, and it is a heart with a G in it. I got this on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is my favorite holiday. We always would get the dogs a little Valentine's Day toy or something. So Michael and I on Valentine's Day, when I got this tattoo, he got like right here on his chest, it says Girly. A few months later, once I had like really thought about a tattoo to get, I got another tattoo for her, which is this one. It is reminiscent of this video. She used to always put her paw in the water bowl. I think it's a really great memory of her. So getting a tattoo, I know I see a lot of people get like paw prints and things like that. So the next thing is a memory box. What you're looking at behind me, this beautiful shelf, I am eventually going to use to memorialize all of my dogs. You can't see because it's a little bit out of the frame right now, but I'm going to show you. I created these memory boxes. They're basically to honor them. They are in these closed containers, so you can actually open them. They have a door and you can still touch, like that was so important to me. I still wanted to be able to touch their fur clippings. I will obviously put the link to the box down below. The next thing I want to suggest is possibly making a donation to your favorite animal rescue or shelter. When Girly passed away, I entered her into like a calendar contest, and her little entry fee was a donation to the shelter. She actually ended up winning and was the cover of the calendar. But they also offered like you could put your dog's pictures as like their birthday, and like you would pay a little fee to have that happen as well. I know a lot of shelters do things like that with calendars, but something else you could do is donate supplies, dog food. You might have extra dog food or cat food or anything of that nature that you could drop off in their name. Making a donation, whether it's monetary or a physical thing, or just even donating your time to an animal rescue or shelter, is such an amazing way, I believe, to honor your soul animals. Something that really helps me is keeping a photo of my soul dogs on my bedside table. This one I highly recommend because every day you wake up and you look at it and you see them and you're reminded of them. When I reference back to like thinking that you might forget them, you're never gonna forget them. First of all, let me just tell you, whether there's a photo on your bedside or not, but seeing them every day, you start your day thinking of them, and that's a really special thing. So that's something that helps me personally a lot. The next thing I would suggest is taking their dog tag and turning it into a necklace. I know sometimes our dog tags aren't like super vibey, you know, if it's maybe not your style. Like mine are just gold, so I think it looks really nice as a necklace, but you could also turn it into a keychain, something where it's always with you wherever you go. My last suggestion is something that I actually was inspired to do. I think it was a TikTok video actually, and I haven't finished it yet. Before Hotch had passed away, we knew that his time was coming, and I basically have this like linen, it used to be a curtain, and I laid it out on the floor and I dipped his little paws in paint and I had him walk on this curtain, and I'm going to take that curtain and I'm going to frame it, and it's quite large. You could do this on a much smaller scale with like a small piece of fabric, but we wanted something that was just like big and bold and always reminded us of Hotch. It's not done, it still needs the glass and all of that stuff, but we're essentially going to frame that and put it in our bedroom, and it's going to be this huge, beautiful like art piece that is so just Hotch and his paw prints, and I love it. It looks like muddy paws running through the house, and I love that so much. My hope with this video was to just bring you some peace and some love and some ideas to honor your angels. I hope that this helped in any way. Again, I'm going to link everything I can down below. Thank you so much for watching.